Hello and welcome once again to Jacob's Toys 5-minute figure reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. And in this video we are taking a look at the 3-pack, the Daredevil Man Without Fear 3-pack that includes Daredevil, Bullseye and Elektra. Now I've broken these 5-minute figure reviews into 3 because there are 3 figures in the box set. So this particular video is going to focus on the Bullseye figure. Go and check out my page to see the 5-minute figure reviews of both Daredevil and Elektra separately. But in this video we're going to focus on the bad guy of the box set. Of course it is Bullseye. Now this is windowless boxes, so Hasbro have moved over to the windowless boxes, so you can't actually see the figures that are inside. You can just see the concept art and the renders and stuff that's used in the promotional images on the front and the back of the boxes. And you know, the windowless boxes have been met with some criticism, but it's all to do with saving the planet. So this is how it is, this is the way it's going to be. Let's move on from windowless boxes. This is what we've got. Now, I personally don't have huge amount of issues with the windowless boxes because a lot of my figures I don't pick up from the store. They're sent to me, so it's kind of the same gamble. And inside the windowless boxes you've got these nice cardboard inserts that hold everything in place and keep everything secure. And I must admit, a lot of thought has gone into the cardboard inserts because it does keep everything nicely in place. And I must admit, one thing that isn't an issue now is pushing them out of those kind of plastic clamshells. You know, there was a couple of times when arms and stuff got stuck, so I'm kind of all for the windowless boxes. But anyway, enough about that, let's talk about the figure. Inside you've got these paper bags, and you've got the accessories in one of them, and you've got the figure in another. So let's just pour all of these out, make sure that you get them all. There's a handful of hands, there's an effect hand, there's a knife, and there's an alternate head. I'm just double checking because many a time I've kind of tossed these paper bags away and then realised that I've left something in there, so always check your bags. Now the first thing we're going to look at is the alternate head. This is the unmasked head. Now it's exactly the same sculpt that we had previously on the Daredevil, on the Bullseye figure that was part of the Netflix wave, I believe, the Daredevil Netflix wave. It's the same head sculpt, so it's just a much more updated paint applications and it looks a lot better. The effect hand is the same one that we've had previously, and even the alternate hands are the same. This essentially is the same figure that we have already had. It's just updated paint apps and updated kind of colour schemes. So this one favours a blue midsection, like a blue chest, and black legs and arms, with obviously the signature white kind of collar piece and white gloves and boots. And to be perfectly honest with you, when I first saw the concept art for this, I wasn't overly sold. I was kind of like, you know what, that's not a costume that I'm overly fussed about. But having him in hand, he's actually a lot better looking than I thought he would. And I'm kind of on the fence of whether I prefer this design. Now I've just got to move this belt down a little bit because the belt's kind of pushed up a little bit high. One thing that I will note, and other people have pointed this out, is that because this is the same body and the same sculpt and everything that we had previously, he's got the gun holster, but we haven't got a gun to go in that holster, which is a bit of an odd choice on Hasbro's behalf. I don't know why they've not included that in this box set. But focusing on the positives, the paint apps on the heads are a definite improvement. Both of these head sculpts are a definite improvement on the previous versions. The paint apps on the actual body are really nice and do look a lot better in hand than they did in the promo art. Here is the older version, and you can see straight away it does look a little bit dated, even though it essentially is exactly the same figure. Let me just turn the light around a little bit and you can see those head sculpts, the difference there. And they are essentially exactly the same head sculpt. As you can see there, there's just a new paint app on them, and it really does make a huge difference. On my older version, I've not pushed the belt down, the belt's still quite high up, so I do need to move that down. But you know, there are a few other differences when you actually look at them. So if you look at the white piece on both of the Bullseye figures, there's a lot more line work there on the newer version than there is on the older version, and the lines on the boots and the arms seem to be a lot thinner as well. And you can see here on the back there's another extra line there on the white part across the back of the shoulders. If I was to say which one do I prefer, it would be a hard call. I think this new head sculpt definitely tipped this new version over the edge a little bit, and I must admit, I really disliked the design of the blue and the black from the promo images and the previous images that we saw before getting it in hand. But actually standing them side by side, I really like it. kind of makes him stand out a little bit. The biggest problem I think I had with my Bullseye figure is that he just kind of blended into the background, like with some of the other villains. He didn't really stand out. I used the head sculpt on a different figure, on a custom, so I'm really pleased that they included that head sculpt again, because it is a really kind of vicious looking head sculpt. He's got that kind of screaming look. He's missing a tooth. He's got the bullseye kind of tattooed, like scarred into his head. And I think that head sculpt goes really well with this effect piece. It kind of gives the figure a bit of movement, I think. So the big question is, if this was a standalone figure, would I purchase it? Considering I have the older version, I probably wouldn't have purchased this as a standalone figure. However, anyone that hasn't got that bullseye, and he does come from a wave of quite sought after figures, this is a very good bullseye for your collection, and I don't think you'll be disappointed with it, because it has all of the good things that the previous one had. Upgraded paint apps, upgraded head sculpts, and updated paint application on the head sculpts. The only thing it's missing for some unknown reason is a gun to go in that holster. You'd think that maybe even they would have changed his belt and got rid of that holster just altogether if they weren't going to include the gun. But yeah, apart from the missing accessory, it's a much more superior figure. I think the colours just pop. No, I wouldn't have purchased it as a standalone figure, but as part of the 3-pack, it's a very welcomed addition indeed. As I said, I do take a 5-minute figure review look at every single one of the figures in this box set, so do check my page and playlists, etc. to see the other 2 figures reviewed there. Let me just put this knife in his hand so that he's kind of got a more like tangible look, shall we say. But yeah, he's a cool figure. He is a cool figure. If you haven't got a bullseye in your collection, definitely go and pick him up. But yes, as I said, go and check out my page for a closer look at the other 2 figures in this wave, which of course is the white suited Elektra and the red suited Daredevil that go alongside this black and blue suited Bullseye. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe, and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. And of course, as always, I'll see you soon.